welcome to episode 11 of Generation Dragons. Good to see you, Steve.
Good to see you, Clint, and happy Easter. Cheers to it being Easter.
Happy Easter, happy Easter.
Just what I need. More sugar.
Yeah, more sugar. More. What do you mean? It's the good sugar, Steve. It's good sugar. Yeah, it's like fruit, right?
Good sugar. Well, it's just liquid bread. It's good for you.
Yeah, it's exactly. It helps you, keeps you regular, right? So that's all that matters. Anywho, Steve, how's it going? I enjoy your Sony shirt. Actually, I think I can't say I still have a shirt like that, but when I was working for Sony back in the day, I did have one pretty much exactly like that. So good to see some Sony love.
I got this from when I purchased one of my Alphas, and they gave me the shirt. But I talk about Xbox so much, I thought it was time to give Sony some love.
That's fair. That's fair. And we're recording later than usual, but as it always is, it's been kind of a busy week for both Steve and I, being dads and it being the Easter weekend and going into another lockdown. I won't add any additional words to what I was going to say to that. But anywho, so Steve, what have you been up to? What's been going on?
Not much, Clint. Work's been pretty busy, actually. And then during the evenings, just our neighbors are selling their house, so we've been involved a little bit with that. So I'm there quite a bit talking to them. Well, actually, I should be over a little bit more, just helping them get stuff going. But so, yeah, been doing that. And then, of course, we had our last hurrah before the lockdown, and I saw my sister this weekend and her kids, my kids. So it was a busy weekend. We just got back this morning, but it was good. I hadn't seen them since last year. We keep canceling because of these lockdowns. So, and my wife just said, no, we need this. The kids need to see them. And so we just said, screw it. And we went for it.
Right.
That's it. What about you?
Not much. I've been waiting on this beautiful laptop, as we will go in to talk about our pickups, but doing a recording on this new laptop that I picked up, steal off of Best Buy. I have an open box laptop, so using it now, and then that's kind of delayed, but then just been kind of hanging out with the kids. It's been nice here in Ottawa, so we've been playing around and hanging out outside, and that's pretty much it. So latest pickup, Steve, talking about pickups, I got this laptop. If you can see behind here over my right shoulder, I've got the 35th anniversary pins.
That's awesome. Oh shit.
Pins from Nintendo, that after doing a bunch of stuff I had to do, so I was able to order these ones in time and get them, so very happy about that pickup. And I think I sent you those pictures of that sweet Xbox belt buckle, and now I just have to find a belt that fits, that'll work, and and that kind of stuff. Got a couple. I picked up Game.Bot, which is got him yesterday at EB, which was sweet.
A little bit jealous, especially at the price you get.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was happy. I had to. I was just like, oh, I'll go look at Transformers, see what's there. Clearly, there's like another 7 hot rods sitting there. Or like, motherfuckers, why weren't you here before? And then I said Game.Bot, so I picked him up. And then Final Fantasy 12? No, which is, I think 12. 12, yes. Final Fantasy, yes, 12. The one that
I'm confused.
The one that came out the one that was on the PS2 that didn't come out, that wasn't the online one, which I believe is 12. So I think the 11,
because it went X, then X2, then 11, then.
But 11 was online.
I can't remember though. Yeah, that was you had to have the hard drive and the network adapter for your PS2. But,
so I picked up 12. They remade that one for the Switch. I picked that one up. I haven't played it yet, but I gotta pop it into the Switch this week and give that a go. But yeah, man. And then, what about yourself? Getting any sweet pickups or less?
Not as good as you. I did get a few things this week. I pulled the trigger and bought a couple of things on Amazon with TFs just because I was tired of hunting for them. So I ended up ordering Scourge, Cup, and Blur. So
nice. Okay.
I got Cup and Blur, but I haven't got Scourge yet.
Oh, okay.
And I also picked up Transformers versus Back to the Future issue number 3. And read that.
Sweet.
So,
sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, nice. Beast Wars is out this week. The next issue for Beast Wars is out this week, so I'm looking forward to that. But
wonder how the pickup's going to work. Like, now that we're back in lockdown, if it's going to be a call ahead kind of thing again.
No,
Or if
I like they should be open as long as they choose to be open. They should be open. They're just down the threshold of amount of people inside is just reduced, right? So
I think that was reduced anyway, just by no one not going anywhere anymore.
yeah,
Downtown's like a ghost town.
yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, no, I mean that's that I was thinking about. Oh yeah, and the other one that I got notification a couple of days ago, my RC is coming in too. The one
Oh,
I ordered
nice.
from Hasbro, so that's got
Yeah,
shipped earlier. So
I almost picked up RC. I did see her at Walmart a couple weeks ago, Kingdom one, but I have the War for Cybertron one, or I should say, was it Earthrise?
no, the
It,
Combiner War ones, like the ones.
it looks almost identical. That's why I didn't see any,
Yeah,
any
yeah.
need to pick it up. So it's got like it's a parts former too, which I don't like. So sort of like Cliff Jumper, where you have to take part of it off and then put together. Like Omega Streams is a huge part former, but
Right.
so
No,
but
I
yeah, man.
I was gonna say I didn't pick. I was never able to find that RC, the one that you're talking about. So I picked up this one because I hadn't been able to find that one. So
Yeah, they're almost identical, but
yeah.
I'm probably going to check out a review somewhere or look online so I can see the differences and see if it's major enough for me to change. Like I picked up a second Megatron, like the Kingdom one, just because
Right.
he's a lot better as a tank mode,
Nice.
but
Yeah.
not really any different looking than when he's a robot. Except if you remember the War for Cybertron one, his head kind of sinks in. There's nothing to
Yeah.
clip it here. So I never liked that part, but.
Yeah.
When I was at my cousin or my sister's place, my kids' cousins, they have a bunch of Transformers out on the deck they were playing with, and they were just all missing pieces. And it was Octane. He's a headmaster. His head's like gone somewhere, wings missing. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't look at this.
This massacre. This is bad.
And I did
Why
find
would you
his
let
head
this
later, but it was all rusted out and like on
no.
little joints. I was like, no.
No, that's why I have a bunch of old ones. Yes, you know, a whole bunch of old Transformers from my childhood that were all broken anyways. And they were like knockoff Beast Wars or whatever the case was. So I've left that out for the kids to play. But it's like, Daddy, can you transform this Transformer? I'd be like, sure. So you mentioned
I gave a
comic
bag of
books.
those away. I should have given I gave a bag to one of my friend's kids of broken
Yeah.
Transformers like that.
Yeah.
Somebody at work gave them to me, and I just like I already had all of them actually.
Yeah.
So I gave them to a buddy's kid and whatnot. I just cut you off though. What were you going to say?
Oh no, I was gonna say you're talking about comics. What have you been reading? So the Back to the Future Transformers? Anything else?
No, I haven't had anything new, right? So that was the only thing I've actually read lately. I did kind of revisit some old fanfic I had though. So
Nice.
before I get into it, do you read any fanfic?
No, not really. I mean, I've read it. Whatever. I've read. I've read a few like translated Magnus. You know, some of the Japanese comic books. I've read a few like fan translated of those. Those are all PDF online. So for Metroid, which was it was really cool. I really liked it. And it was kind of like, man, I wish I could find an English actual translation version of this one versus the online. But no, not really. Not much. Not that I could think of on top of my head. I mean, most of the stuff I'm reading would be kind of fanficish is all like written by. So it's all like my Halo books and all that stuff, right? Like it's for a hardcore Halo fan, but not for someone who just plays Halo, right? So
yeah, I read well, not all, but a good chunk of the Halo novels. I really got into it, but Halo is one of my favorite games, so it's easy for me to fall into that. But
yeah, right.
With the fanfic I was reading, it was been in the back of my mind for a while, but I read this in the 90s, and
wow.
This is like bulletin boards, people posting fanfics there, and I just randomly discovered this group, and it was basically Transformer fanfic, but I found a story that was a Transformer Star Trek crossover. And so you're able to download it, and I've had it on my hard drive versions for 20 some years. I just keep backing up and transferring it. So I opened it up, and it's essentially Transformers meeting the Borg, and it explains how we leapt from the 20th century to where they are in the 24th century with technology jumping so fast was because of our interactions in the earliest 20th century, late 20th century and early 21st century with Transformers, but then they just disappeared, went off the radar. So it's like Starfleet's always known about Transformers, but they don't know why they disappeared, where they went, and they're always hunger on the search for more energon, or energy, to be simplest terms. And so it's the whole wormhole. The cube comes through the wormhole to DS9, and at first, I don't remember exactly how it happens, but as they basically Star Trek, their phasers and their shields are way far advanced compared to what Transformers have. So their shields were able to block the Transformers when they came, but when the Borg met them, I'm getting the story mixed up. They eventually assimilate the Transformers, right? So when, even though they have their shields, the Transformers brute force is really what they just go and start bashing ships, and that's what really got them to win. So it ends up being Bruticus, and he gets assimilated by the Borg after he punches a few holes through a cube and stuff like that. So because it's just what they do, they assimilate, and then the Borg cube like transforms at DS9, and then it's like of course Autobots versus and Starfleet versus the Borg transforming cube. I can't remember exactly. I didn't finish it, how they killed it off, but I'm gonna have to finish the rest of the story later. But anyway, I'm on a rant and rambling, but it was very well written, especially for fanfic and something way back from the 90s.
Yeah, so it's cool because I mean the thing is like there's a lot of like comic books and stuff like that that are like that. Did we? I'm still here. Steve, am I still here? Can you still hear me? Okay,
like cool. You're not moving on my screen.
That's okay. I'm still moving on my screen.
But
we're good. We're good. We'll let this keep going. Yeah, talking about the fanfics. So it's just like the comics.
Am I moving okay?
Yeah, you're moving okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you keep stopping. You'll be like, I'm moving up, but can you? That's how you're coming in.
Okay.
And you're totally gone now.
Yeah, see, everything seems to be okay on my side.
Want to pause and stitch?
Maybe
it's my internet.
Yes, it could be.
Want to pause and stitch for a sec? I'm going to prioritize it.
So yeah, Steve. So you were mentioning the Bruticus on your fanfic of Star Trek and Transformers. So him being a combiner. Obviously not the first combiner, because Devastator was the first combiner, if I recall correctly, from G1.
First one, yeah, but you could argue just because of the continuity that it's actually Nexus Prime.
Oh, okay.
One of the 13 originals who had the first ability to combine.
Yeah, okay.
So, but I still say Nexus Prime.
No. But what did they call that? The combiner? Well, I can't remember now. No, but like I'm talking about from Combiner Wars and all that stuff in the
Combination YouTube. Enigma.
That's it. Combination. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, okay. Sorry. So Nexus Prime. But what was he, or how did he?
So he's one of the 13 original primes, right?
Right.
And so every prime has their ability that they've kind of shared with the Transformers, and his was the ability to combine. Right. And so I'm struggling with my memory here because I haven't read it in a long time. God, could even be a she for all I know. These days, I don't remember. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's a he, and he was the first to have this ability. But what do you think of combiners in general, or gestalts? Because gestalts was kind of a fan-made term that was used a long time ago, and they still kind of use it today. But gestalts sometimes are used to describe like big Transformers like Omega Supreme, who's not a combiner.
Right.
But a combiner would be, multiple Transformers joining into one. A gestalt might just be large Transformers. And then you get Titans, which is a newer term, like maybe in the last 10 years, they started using Titans to describe like city formers and stuff like that. But,
I mean,
number one. Sorry, go ahead.
So no, you're right. You had asked me there. What do I think about combiners? I think combiners are cool. Like I like the way they've done them in toys. And again, I'm only going off. I know like Devastator from G1 combiner. I don't recall. Like I think I've seen because there's a Bruticus G1 Transformer toy line too, right? So I remember seeing him. I don't have him. Like I don't have any of the G1 combiners. Actually, that's a lie. I have a reissue of the G1 Devastator that actually you gave to me, the yellow
Yep.
yellow Devastator.
G2, I think it was.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they're cool. They bring like they do bring a interesting story. I'm more again. This is more for me, more recent. The stuff that they did on YouTube, the Combiner Wars and whatnot. So like that when they did that in the Combiner Wars, I thought it was pretty cool how they started to now like, hey, you don't need. You can either buy all these Transformers, and if you do, you can put them together and they make Superion. They make, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and as a kid, that was just, like, because you could buy them in a kit, right? And they're all together, but it was pricey as heck. Well, relatively speaking, right? But that was like, when I was a kid, I'd have a couple of these guys. Someone else would have a couple others. We hated if our parents bought us the same ones, like us and a friend, because we wanted to combine them. And then I was always jealous of my neighbor who had all of Devastator just right away.
yeah.
But yeah, my brother and I were trying to do Superion because we picked up a few of the jets just at the local drugstore or whatever. They had them selling there, but we never could get Superion. So we had all the limbs, but no Superion.
There you go. Well, I mean, I think I don't think they bring much into the story of like of the comics or the shows. Like they do to an extent. Devastator is completely different.
So they're always used as a tool, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say a tool, but like as a part of it, like they don't really fit in until like, okay, Devastator, go destroy this and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was a great writing opportunity because it's 5 or 6 minds joining into one in the conflicts, and when they explore that, I really like that.
Yeah.
And there's some combiners I just think are stupid, like like Vulcanus. It's literally just the Dinobots kind of joined into one, so I don't consider that real.
Yeah.
It was made later, or what's her name, Victorion or whatever.
Yeah, Victorion. Yeah, Victorion is
And then like I really didn't like. I'm trying to think of the name of the one where it's all the like Chronicon. It's all like the headmaster guys.
Oh yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Just really struggling with my memory here. But I
Didn't
never liked that one.
Isn't Computron one as well though?
You're thinking of Abominus. So Abominus and Computron were our enemies. But after that, when you got into the season 4 and Headmasters, which cartoon quit, but the toys still kept coming out, it was just like all the C-bots, if you will, that made this bad guy. And I just always thought it was stupid. I did a quick search here to see if I can figure out the name because it's bugging me. And I could be wrong, but
who did they have in the last in the Combiner War storyline that Optimus combined with? Because didn't they have one where Optimus combined with Bumblebee and
so that's kind of like goes with the toy line. But really, Optimus has only really merged a couple of times in cartoon continuity, which wouldn't be G1. But Robots in Disguise, I believe he merged with Omega, and he also merged with Ultra Magnus in Armada, and then Robots in Disguise. But so you have Omega Prime, which is really just the two of them. Then you have Omega Prime, I guess. I can't remember if it's Omega Prime, but basically it's just Prime taking over his body and all the pieces attached.
Right. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, I'm interested to see what they do because, like, I kind of like how they've been doing. I know it's not quite combiners, but like for example, the Earthrise toys. You can use Optimus Primal and combine them with some of the dinosaur Transformers. No, but the skeleton ones and stuff like that. Like I can't remember their names on the top of my head.
They're almost like power ups, like sort of like how Armada did the minicons.
Yeah,
which it took me a while to get into that, but I like back then, like in the mid 2000s or so. I like you could snap these guys on and like it would unlock other weapons and stuff. I kind of thought it was corny at first. Chronicon, by the way, I just found it. The Seacons, Chronicon. Yeah, so. but I always thought that was a stupid looking Transformer. And kind of, I remember seeing it as a toys and stuff, but I was kind of already older then and not collecting the Transformers as much.
Yeah.
Back like once I got into that age group, like I kind of collected just the main guys here just for having them.
Right. Yeah,
But
man.
yeah,
Yeah. So talking about shows and stuff like that we've been talking about. Have you watched Winter Soldier yet?
I haven't watched the newest one because I was away.
Well, yeah. The one from Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm liking the show so far. I heard a little bit on some of the spoilers, and I just immediately I closed that article that popped up
Yeah.
because I didn't want to read it. But so far, I'm liking it. We'll see where it goes. I kind of like the banter Winter Soldier and Falcon have against each other. They kinda don't like each other, but they do. And
But they do, yeah. No, that's the same thing. I mean, I like the show. It's cool that they introduced some of the other characters, other like side characters. That was kind of cool that they just kind of threw them in there. I love how GSP George St. Pierre was in it again. Like that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was reading a bit about that too.
Reprising his role as George. He's God, what is his name? I looked it up the other day. Whatever his bad guy name is, but George something. I was like, really, St. Pierre? You couldn't have been a bad guy. That was somebody else. I get it. You're being the French bad guy because you're French and all, but come on.
So
yeah, man.
I'm going off topic, and we'll save it for later. But there is something I'm dying to ask you later at the end of the show. We'll let you finish with this so we'll talk about it. But yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. I was just you. Yeah, no. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
So since you have the clock, just remind me when we're getting down to like, oh, we should end it, and then I'm going to pose a question for you. I think you already see it because I highlighted it in the notes on that. But yeah. So with you, back to you were talking about your laptop earlier, your new laptop, which I'm super jealous of because I've been having trouble using OBS on my machine. It just can't handle it.
Right.
You're playing MS Flight Simulator. What do you think?
So it runs really well on this laptop. I can't run it on Ultra, which kind of makes sense. I'm only running a laptop, and I only paid $1,300 for it, so it's not like a $3,000 laptop or anything like that, right? But I'm running it on high, so it's cool. It's sweet. I mean, I flew out of Ottawa and was on my way to fly into Montreal, but then I crashed the plane. Or I didn't crash the plane. No, I didn't. I know it's like you've stressed the plane too much. You're going too fast. I was like, oh, I still I don't want to sit through the training, but then I probably should. So I'm like, yeah. Like it's pretty cool.
What plane were you? What kind of plane were you flying?
It was just I can't remember what it was called. One of the jets. It wasn't like a Cessna or something like that. Actually, that's a lie. I did crash a Cessna. I tore up one of the jets that are like not a jetliner, but one of the other ones that are options that are there. I can't remember the name of it. But once I get a hang of it, I'm actually looking forward to showing it to my dad because back in the day when we started getting computers at my place, because we were 20 years later than everybody else getting computers, my dad always wanted to play Flight Simulator. So like the last one we were able to play was Flight Sim 98. So like,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I think
I'm
everyone
looking
played that back in the day. I think I still have the box.
Nice. But that's it. I'm looking forward to bring my laptop over to my parents' place when this stuff goes lockdown is lifted, and have my dad give it a shot. But it's cool because like we flew over. I flew out of the Ottawa airport, following the maps, but then also like following the river. Like I almost made it to my house here to fly over it, but then I crashed the plane before that. But I was like flying over the Innis bypass and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Could you see everything? Like, is it like?
Oh yeah,
maps?
It was exactly. Yeah. It's like So it's Bing Maps. That's what they're using. They're using the live Bing Maps.
Nice.
So
I was wondering how they did it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's really it's pretty cool. Like I'm looking forward to playing it. I guess I could put this laptop onto my big TV, but I'm looking forward to when they utilize it for larger screens.
So I really want to play it on the Xbox.
Yeah.
Problem is, I kind of want to use my flight stick. So I do have a half decent PC that I built.
Yeah.
It's getting a little aged now, but I'm sure it can handle flight sim pretty decent. But that said, I just want to use my Xbox, but I kind of also want to use the flight stick and see. And,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to play it eventually. It's been on the top of my mind I should say, for a while.
I only downloaded it because I've got Game Pass Ultimate. Excuse me. And then because I have a laptop that can run it. I was waiting for it to come out on Xbox, right? So
yep, that's exactly what I'm doing, waiting, but I could probably just play it now like you did if I wanted on my PC. So speaking of Game Pass Ultimate, what do you think of Game Pass Ultimate versus Sony PlayStation Plus? And then we have to add games with gold, which is garbage ever since Ultimate. But
so
your opinions, because you're the one playing PS a hell of a lot more than I.
So if we're going to compare PlayStation Plus with gold game, like Xbox Gold, or I guess it's not called that anymore. I know they changed the name of it.
Game Pass Ultimate, I think now, and then there's game.
Is it games with gold? Because remember they got rid of Xbox.
I think it's still gold right now.
Well, I thought they got rid of Xbox Live.
No, I think it's still game with gold. I haven't.
Oh yeah, I think it's still game.
They rebranded it really.
Yeah.
So I think what you're going to see is it's all going to just be Game Pass Ultimate or nothing, right?
Yeah,
it's so successful. They're going to rope it all into that. But anyway, because I haven't used PlayStation Plus in a long time, what do you think?
Oh, so if you're going to go, so Game Pass Ultimate is good, right? Like it's a sweet, like you're paying your monthly subscription, you're getting all these games, the day one releases, all that stuff. Awesome. Like that's sweet. If we're talking games with gold and PlayStation Plus kills games with gold, right? Like PlayStation Plus, they just did like that stay at home. They gave a bunch of games for free. If you never played Ratchet, you can play Ratchet for free. You can play Horizon for free. God of War's up there. Now God of War's got the PS5 like boosts and all that stuff into it too. Yep. Like that kills games with gold. Like it tenfold. But if you're comparing,
going to have games with gold nowadays anyway. They're just going to have it roped in as you get Game Pass.
Yeah.
Oh, Game Pass Ultimate, I should say.
But that's the thing. So like Game Pass versus PlayStation Now, or PS Now, or whatever it's called. Game Pass kills PS Now, right? Because Game Pass, man, MLB, made by Sony, published by Sony, is coming to Game Pass day one.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and
right,
like the value there is insane. And
yeah,
I was going to save this question for the end of the show because, but this is a perfect segue into it. 6 months out, you've had both consoles. What are you playing more and why?
You know what? It's probably pretty even. But I'm playing a lot of newer games on my PlayStation versus Xbox. So like Xbox, like Kathy and I will go back in. We'll play Halo. Well, I'll play some of the older games that have the boost that they've released, like the FPS boost and all that stuff. Like which is sweet. Like I think that stuff is awesome. But I'm not like, I turn my Xbox every night, and Kathy and I are playing It Takes Two, which is a fucking awesome game. The story is weird. It Takes Two. I think I haven't even looked at it yet. But you need to play with somebody. Like you can't play by yourself. Right?
But you can play co-op, like couch co-op.
It's couch co-op or online co-op.
So I'm a huge couch co-op person over online. So you already hooked me. And you just said it's a lot like what? Minecraft?
Oh no. So like you're playing.
I was like, what?
It's a 3D platformer. You play in your house. The story is pretty heavy. Like it's about a couple who are getting a divorce. They tell their child that they've decided to get a divorce, and then she wishes for them not to get a divorce, and then that ends up causing them to whatever, a spell comes across, and they go into these two dolls that the daughter had made, and you're playing as these two dolls. so like the story's kind of like Kat and I are like, wow, you and I have a pretty healthy relationship. So this is really hard to like play because it's just kind of, well, not hard, but it's just like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hit us as hard, right? Because
So is this mature though? Because my first thoughts is I've been wanting to play some of the games with kids, but this is from this. It sounds like it's probably way over their head. Not, but am I
so
right?
the gameplay itself, kids would be able to play, and it's like it's fun and it's challenging. The level design is awesome. It's just the story. The story is just like I could tell I'd feel an impact from the story if like my parents were divorced or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just that type of what could have
I
happened.
mean, like me,
But
who has
yeah,
divorced parents.
but that's, you know what I mean? But you could go through and be like, oh yeah, like I get this story. Like I get the story, but I don't
Mhm.
like, my wife and I are happily married, right? We don't bicker all that
You can't
often. We're
relate
not
to it.
like
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But then the gameplay is awesome. Um, back to that was my little side tangent on It Takes Two, but back to comparing the two systems. I mean, I'm playing my PS5 quite a bit, but I'm all like I said, I'm also playing my Xbox just as much, but I'm just playing older games on my Xbox. So
Okay.
Catherine,
So
we're playing like Halo. I'm going in and playing Skyrim, like stuff I shouldn't be playing
yeah.
on a
So
on a new console.
it's kind of what I've heard from other people I've talked to that have both systems. Is that they're playing? Actually, I heard a little bit more that they're playing the Xbox more simply because of Game Pass. But for exclusives of new games, they're going back to the Sony,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I hear over and over. But God, I can't wait to get my PS5. Eventually, I'll get it. I keep
Yeah.
saying that, but eventually.
So the thing is with the Xbox, you got to remember, like you get, it's me, right? I buy every game. I'm always like if it's a new release and it's good physical and it's a double to AAA game, I'm probably already going to buy it, and I would have
Mhm.
bought it when it came out and would have played it. I would have liked it or not liked it, right? So it's like the Game Pass is awesome, but I've played a lot of games on there, and like
Yeah,
I'll jump
you and I are
into
probably both like that. Like I see all these games on Game Pass. I'm like, yeah, I played that last year. I played,
yeah, exactly. And then like a lot of these like well, I don't know, you want to call them, I don't call them tier two, but like the indie-ish style games, I'll download them, give them a shot, and be like, nah, that wasn't for me, right? Like people are like, oh yeah, this is great, play it, and I'm like, nah, that's just not my style of game, right? But anyways, that's where it is. I think when we start seeing more games coming out, when the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S are the main systems, that's when you'd be able to make your call, right? Like everything is coming out for both systems, like a
yeah,
PS4,
they're only
PS5,
6 months old
Series
right
X.
now,
Yeah, exactly, right.
and even
So
then,
I'm not.
I don't think they're so close in specs. Really, I think what's going to be the one that's going to win. I think Sony's already winning. It's going to be the one with the first party titles. They're great.
Yeah,
You
yeah, and
can't get this on Xbox, so you're going to Sony. You can't get this
yeah.
on, vice versa.
To me too, though, it's going to be the feature sets on third party games. So like for example, like a PS5 game that provides me haptic feedback in my controller and leverages
Exactly.
the PS5 controller, I'm going to go with the PS5.
Yeah.
But if like
That's actually what I was going to ask you in a minute
it,
about,
it,
the differences of playing this game on this and this.
so like playing, so um, I picked up. Well, no, I haven't picked up Cyberpunk yet, but I was thinking about picking up Cyberpunk on my Series X. But then I've heard that they are going to be doing PS5 like haptic feedback controls and all that stuff. So then I'm like,
Yeah.
do I buy it on the PS5 then? Even though it may run better on my Series X, but then it's
But
cooler
that
features. So like,
touch feel, yeah. Well, that features like that is what I want to try, and that's why I'm kind of excited. Like the Xbox is just solid. It's solid,
yeah,
but it's not anything that's like, oh, that's so different and cool. That's where I'm seeing Sony. Because if I could get that haptic feedback, like playing something like Leisure Suit Larry, for example, oh man, what the hell's Larry doing? Yeah, right.
no. So you're talking. I mean, I get, and that's the thing. But so we're talking Game Pass and all that stuff, and having this 5 years. So the one thing Microsoft has over PlayStation, and this is going to segue into our other section here, is Xbox is willing, like, backwards compatibility.
Oh, big time.
Game Pass has, I think so. Xbox is what they're on their 1, 2, 4th generation, right? So PlayStation's on their 5th generation. However, Xbox is, you're able to play Xbox games on
so
it.
I'm huge on that. Right. Anyway,
well, we're like PlayStation doesn't have that, right? Even like it does to an extent, right? Like what PS3 had backwards compatibility for PS1 and PS2, but then they took it out. That was only physical media.
Like the PS2 had hardware backwards compatibility, which was awesome. So
yeah, and that's the big thing. So like now with the PS3 and the Vita and the PSP games, like the store shutting down, it's huge.
This is a huge chunk for my argument about why physical media is always better.
Yep.
So if support goes for it, you're done. You can't play that game again. If I wanted to go back and play an old game, I can't now. I get the argument. Why do you want to play an old game? And why don't you move on? Blah blah blah. I get that. But there's so many times I play an old game with the family, or we pull something out that's old, or even like a few times, even like in the last few years, I've pulled out a bunch of Xbox and played Halo with a bunch of guys.
Yeah,
like Combat Evolved, and we have our old Xboxes, or actually we didn't have our old Xboxes. We had our Xbox 360s, or Xbox Ones actually, and it still plays them.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, I like, even Kath and I were talking about it. I busted up my PS3 to re-download Flow to allow the kids to play that. So I don't know if you ever played Flow, but the thing is, it's a digital only game. So it's just like,
once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, so I have to download it onto my console. Now, if my console hard drive, and there you go.
It's
now
done.
Your hard drive, if your hard drive goes to shit, you're fucked, right?
Yep.
So it's just,
and that's a huge problem for me. Like I like having, and I do get the other argument too with bit rot and things getting old and not working anymore. But man, just having I'm a collector, right? And people come over and see my wall of games, and they're just like, "Whoa, where'd you get all this?" But yeah, man, they just, with them shutting down the store, I get why they're doing it, but Xbox has got it in the bag with backwards compatibility. It just
100%. And the downfall is, it's the storage, right? Like storage on systems. You're not getting 2 or 3 terabytes worth of data, like storage, especially with the new systems. Though they're all SSDs, like they're expensive. Like those SSDs are expensive. Like this laptop only has 512 gigs. Like it's not that big. I put Microsoft Flight Simulator takes up 130 gigs on this laptop. Like so, yeah.
So this is a huge problem with the new systems. I was going to ask you about this actually. Like, are you considering getting storage? So the Xbox way of doing storage is expensive, but it's way better because they're using
their little memory card.
PCIe slots with their NVMe, and then but Sony I think is just doing to hook up a hard drive. And so you depending on the hard drive you get, what speed you get, it'll never match that speed that Xbox expansion cards will have. Problem though is they're still small and they're so expensive. Like a terabyte is not a lot of room these days. It's not future proof. And my Series S is always full. Like always. I download like 3 games and it's full.
Yeah. And I get it. I mean, I know the idea is like, well, most people are only playing a couple games at a time, and that's why they're doing it, right? Like that's why they do it. Most people play their own games.
I get that.
Your saves are up in the cloud. Like, and
then you got to pull it. So my problem with that is family. We all have different tastes. There's multiple people playing one console. Ideally, we each have our own console, but even if it's all Series S's, I'm not going to go shell out $400 per kid for a Series S, just so they can have the games they want on each of their systems. No, we share. Like we're not all playing all at the same time. My oldest is the only one that has her own Xbox One. All the rest use my stuff. So.
No, that's the downfall with it. But hey, that's the way the world is going, and that's how they want to do it, right? So there's nothing else we can really Steve, you and I are fighting a losing battle, though, I think.
I know we are. And back to when I was talking about playing Halo with a bunch of people, it drove me nuts that I couldn't just connect the Xboxes in LAN. We all had to have Xbox Live accounts to be able to play. And I'm like, this is so stupid. We each have a disc. We each have a system. We used to do it like this before, and we could have just all got our old Xboxes out. If I don't know if my friends would have had them still, but I probably have 2 or 3 Xboxes. I could have problem with that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, come on, give us LAN back. It's so simple. Let us play as we want. Couch co-op in the rooms, whatever. Don't make us go online for everything. I'm literally in the same house, going out to the internet and then coming back to play with everyone. Like, Jesus, man.
No, I know. But again, a losing battle. So, Steve, good sir, we're coming up to time. As always, it was a great conversation, good catching up. I know it's been about a week since we last chatted. Actually, it's been longer than a week and a half almost.
Yeah.
But again, guys, everyone, thank you for coming in, listening, and/or watching us this whole time. Sorry for the little bit of mix-up that we had earlier. Our internet providers decided to be shitty on both Steve and I and cause us some delays. I think we have the same internet provider. We won't mention any names, but they are red and they own part of the Maple Leafs. Anywho, so Steve, how you?
Leafs suck. Anyway.
Yeah, no. Again, guys, you can follow us at Game.Bot Games on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us on your podcasting platforms. Come take a listen. If you don't want to watch this whole video, but if you're listening to this part right now, that means you've watched the whole video. So
thank you. And thank you.
You've made it to the end. Congrats, you saved the princess. Anywho, Steve.
But our princess is in another castle. Again.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, man. But yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, for sure, Steve. I can't remember what it is, man. Yeah, you go ahead.
Keep collecting.
Keep gaming.
Stay safe.
Keep safe.